Okay, so real quick before we get started, I went to TJ Maxx like a few weeks ago. They had a rose-shaped ice cube mold. You got like 2 of them for like $4. I've been making rose-shaped ice cubes for like 3 weeks. I am rocking some of those today. I'll have to put in a picture or something. These turned out really... like you can kind of see the centers. The trick is to use really hot water, I've found. Like you'll still end up with a little bit of weirdness in the dead center, but really hot water will give you like really clear cubes. Or roses in this case, so. I was trying to go for pirate, but I'm worried that the hat is more country. I don't know, something about it. I'm like, maybe it's just because of hats. Where I'm just like, howdy, y'all. Also, my nail polish doesn't match because I went to my niece's birthday party yesterday, and so I did it kind of themed like Lisa Frank. And so, my nails are rainbow. Doesn't match. I don't care. You don't care. Let's just get to the meat of this. Welcome back, Frill Nation, to another episode of OK Bloomer. I'm so happy to be back. I've been pretty busy the last couple of months, dealing with, work stuff, life stuff, and also getting ready for Paradiso 2022. They are finally able to hold the event that they've been delaying since 2020 for obvious reasons. And 2020 was supposed to be my first year to attend, and obviously, unfortunately, that didn't happen. So it's finally happening this year. It's the weekend of June 11th in Kansas City, Missouri. Really excited to go. And I thought to myself, this is their 5th year of attending, and I thought maybe it would be fun to kind of look back and talk a little bit about the history of Paradiso and sort of go from there. So in general, Lolita-specific events and cons that aren't just mega meets are rather recent phenomena. A lot of times you would end up just having them sort of looped in with your local anime conventions because, let's be honest, most people don't have the resources to throw on a full-scale event. It sort of has to grow on its own through word of mouth and through just a good quality event in the first place. So it's really tricky to just get one rolling. So for a long time, when you wanted to do Lolita-specific events, you had to go to an anime convention that would hopefully at least have something, whether it was even just 101 panels, or if they'd actually been able to get a few vendors in the dealer's hall, or if they'd really gone all out and actually started to host independent designer fashion shows as part of their live events. I'm not sure who started it first. I believe Otakon had some Lolita fashion events in 2007. I think that was the earliest. They've also had some fashion events at Anime Central, which is the big con in Rosemont, Illinois. That's where the Lolita Collective is based. So they sort of were able to get their start there through ASEN in, I want to say, 2009. I could be off on that date. And that was where a lot of the ball went rolling to actually bring in some of these Lolita-specific events, or these J-Fashion specific events, because before, as I said, you would be lucky to get some panels, maybe a vendor or two. A lot of times what you'd actually see is you would have a vendor that had like made costumes, things like that, and they would buy a bunch of body line and then they would sell that at a ridiculous markup. And that was sort of the most that you would get for Lolita fashion at a lot of conventions leading up to 2009, 2010, when things started to explode. As far as I understand, it was sort of difficult at first to get some conventions to understand that this was a thing that they could do, because our personal experience was that our local convention was worried that it would interfere with the cosplay masquerade. So that was their concern, was that we were trying to take over and host a separate cosplay masquerade earlier in the day, which was stupid. They honestly didn't even... Oh, God, this was 2012. One of these days I'll make a video on it, I guess, and probably get banned from this con for speaking my truth. But we literally had to send them videos of fashion shows from other conventions to show them, no, this has nothing to do with cosplay, it has nothing to do with, like, masquerade, etc. This is about showcasing Japanese fashion, which has more to do with a Japanese culture convention than fucking Doctor Who or Homestuck. Like, I'm sorry, it does. They didn't get it. We literally had to send them videos of other conventions' fashion shows to explain to them, like, no, this is a thing, this is a like, you would think if you're a major con and you're constantly looking to expand your horizons and expand your live events and create a bigger pull to keep people coming back and to bring in new attendees, that you would look at other major long-lived cons and see what they're doing and say, okay, what can we do to kind of, you know, get close to that? And I understand that you're always going to have a lot of your resources and money tied up in the things that people are there primarily for, which is your Japanese guests and voice actor guests, animators, things like that, manga creators, and so on and so forth. So I understand that, but still, you would think that, I don't know, if I ran a convention for some reason, then that's what I would do, is I would sort of look at other conventions, such as Anime Central, or maybe not Dragon Con, but Anime Weekend Atlanta, any of those other major events that draw in, you know, 50,000 people every year or what have you. And I would say, okay, what are they doing that we aren't? And I would reflect that in my own planning. But I'm not a convention runner, so anyway, Paradiso has been going on since 2014. In 2014, originally, it was just supposed to be a mega meet for the Missouri Com. Missouri actually has two communities from what I could detect. They have one for the Ozark area and one for the St. Louis area. And you'll see this a lot in the United States with their communities, is especially when you get big states like California, Texas, etc. They essentially have to sequester off into little clusters in local cities, because some of these states, you know, you're going to spend 2 to 3 hours getting to one location. For us personally, we've joked before about having a separate community for the Upper Peninsula, because that was actually an April Fool's joke I did one year. I was like, okay, from now on, we're going to have a Lower Peninsula Com and an Upper Peninsula Com. We have maybe 2 people total who have ever lived in the Upper Peninsula that were part of the com. So it was a joke. It was entirely a joke. We do have a few little, like, town-based cluster communities, as far as I know, for the southeast area, or there is a separate one where we've linked up with Ohio because of that border between Ohio and Michigan, sort of share community members and throw back ideas back and forth about, oh, hey, let's meet up here, it's kind of close to the border. Simply because of the size of the states, you're not always able to meet up with the people that actually live in your state, because it's closer to get to people in a bordering state. It's just, the states are too big. So, sorry, I keep getting derailed. I haven't talked in a while. So, yes, in 2014, Paradiso started as sort of just a mega meet for the St. Louis and Ozark communities in Missouri. It's actually kind of tricky to research this, because there's also an event called Paradiso in George, Washington, which is a EDM festival. Mega meets aren't super common. I know the Chicago community used to do one every year, and I never got to go because I either couldn't afford to or couldn't get the time off work. And they actually have disbanded the idea simply because it was too stressful, and it was coming to be at a place where there would be a cost, because they would have to rent space for everyone, which turned off newer Lolitas because they didn't have the money, or they didn't want to spend the money and do all the traveling, or they were unable to find a big enough private venue that would be affordable. They would do it in Millennium Park pretty often, which is where the Bean is located. And the problem with doing these open air events is that when you have a big cluster of people who are dressed up, obviously it's going to draw attention. So instead of getting to just relax and hang out and be frilly for a day, instead they were having to deal with the interloping public kind of step in and constantly ask, like, oh, what's going on here? Is this a thing? Or like expecting people to do something. So it just got to the point where it was such a hassle and no one really wanted to take responsibility for it, that they just disbanded it entirely. It pissed me off, because it was like, Mega Meet when? And I finally had a chance to, like, where I could go, where I was going to be able to afford to go, and I was determined to go, and they were like, well, we're not doing that anymore. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't blame them for it. It is incredibly stressful hosting a big event. For us, we are actually hosting an anniversary event at the beginning of July to celebrate sort of our 16th anniversary of having an online presence as a community. And it's been quite stressful trying to plan that and work things out with vendors, especially because this, in year of our Lord 2022, all of the canceled weddings are finally able to happen. All of the other canceled major events are finally able to happen. Vendors have had to increase their prices and limit their bookings accordingly because there's still COVID regulations. So it was stressful pre-pandemic, and it's just harder, like 10 times harder post-pandemic. So the struggle is real, so don't blame them for not doing the Mega Meet anymore. Originally, it was just a Mega Meet in 2014, and it went so well that year that they decided to do it again in 2015. And this was by showrunners Suzanne Nelson and Kristen Mazarak-Feige. And I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. So they kept it up because it was, it was a great success. A lot of people really enjoyed it. So they did it again, 2015 and 2016 as well. Now, those early days were held still in 2 separate areas. Day 1 was the Berg event space. So day 1 of Paradiso 2016 was to feature the Tea Party, the fashion show, the Vendors Hall, which featured the Lolita Collective, who have been involved with this one since the beginning, and also a J Fashion parade or art walk through the Kansas City Crossroads Art District. And day 2 featured a tour of the specific art museum and a picnic in Kansas City Sculpture Park. This actually sounded really cool. It was a lot of very much like centered around art and style and sort of these very intellectually stimulating events, which I think sounds really fascinating. We go to an art museum sometimes. It's always a little bit of a hassle because, again, you get stopped all the time. If we're not careful, we get yelled at like basically at least once every time for getting too close to the art. You have to maintain a space of like 3 feet from all art just to protect it. Paradiso 2017 was the first time they actually had a theme, and their theme for that year was Eternal Reverie. And at this point, Oklahoma had also joined the game to help with planning the event and slowly turning it into more of a large-scale fashion event. I'm going to say event a lot, so. They also featured Wonder Welt as a sponsor for the first time in 2017, which was a big get. If you don't know, Wonder Welt is one of the more popular Japanese-based secondhand shops. They also do sell some new items. They have their own line, specifically of petticoats, and you can also buy moitié new through them as well. And of course, again, the Lolita Collective was there to offer support. This was also the first year that they featured the Midwest OG Sama pageant. So it's a contest in 3 parts. If you're not familiar with the term OG, it means Prince style. It's considered sort of the masculine counterpart to Lolita fashion. That's kind of what I'm wearing today. This was just a fun way to sort of decide who is the best OG Sama for the Midwest area. So the contest comes in 3 parts. Namely, one is the coordinate contest. So pretty straightforward. Overall, it's about judging the quality of your coordinate, your overall appearance. I don't think you have to follow the event theme per se, but your outfit itself does have to have a sort of, a coherent idea through the whole outfit. Like, you can't just throw on a pair of pumpkin pants and a jacket and vest and be like, oh, I'm a hot prince, what up? You have to have, put some effort in, gussy up a little bit, go ham or something. There was also a Q&A session, so contestants would obviously have to answer a question from a list, and they would be judged on their answer in general and their delivery of that answer. Were they confident? Were they joking? Was it a bit, salacious how they were responding to it? Things like that, those sorts of qualities. The last part of the contest was always their Woo a Princess, which kind of what it sounds like. You would be paired with a princess or someone in Lolita fashion, and you would have to do your best to charm them into wanting to be your princess. Contestants would have 90 seconds to woo the princess. Obviously, it was, done within reason. It wasn't like, don't be gross, don't be harassy. It was a fun little game, so it was no harm, no foul, just sort of done as a bit jokey. The winner of the OG contest is determined by a panel of 3 judges. Typically, these are their special guests, and also any VIP ticket holders would also have a hand in the voting. This would be the title of Midwest OG Sama for the year held, which obviously the first year was 2017, and they would also get a sash, a certificate, and a special gift. So it was literally like a beauty pageant, but it was for an OG, so it was flipping it on its head a little bit, which is always fun. There would also be a runner-up to this who would also receive a certificate and a gift. 2018 was the Woodland Arcadia theme, which a lot of people took to mean things like deer prints, so of course Innocent World's Lotta print, fawn makeup, a lot of very whimsical sort of Midsummer Night's Dream theming, mushroom print dresses, accessories like that. They still had Wonderwelt and Lolita Collective to help support the event as sponsors, which is always awesome, and it was still being hosted at the Athenaeum and the Webster House. And 2019's theme was decadence. So obviously from the name alone, you understand go big or go home. This was also their first year at the Grand Plaza at Union Station on day 1, which is where 2022 will be held again. Day 2 was held at the Little Theater at Kansas City Convention Center. So they've always been trying to find a good location for day 2. They've always sort of been feeling one out, something that has a beautiful old aesthetic to it, but also fits the needs of the convention. This was also the first year that they had the new sponsor Noir Arts and Oddities, which is also where the VIP after party will be held on Sunday evening. And they also had Arta Wigs as a sponsor for the first time as well. And this was also the first time where they were able to feature Triple Fortune as fashion show guests, and Angelic Pretty USA also donated items for part of the fashion show. And of course, you always had your plethora of indie designers, so you had Moss Badger, Eat Me Ink Me, Voodoo Dolly, and more. So I think 2019 was really where this event as a whole started to pick up speed, which was great. So 2020. By this time, the committee had grown to feature reps from all over. So you still had Kansas City and Ozarks. You also had Columbia, St. Louis, Missouri, Oklahoma again, Ohio, Delaware, Louisiana. So it's everyone is sort of amassing and helping this to become just a snowball of an event. Really exciting stuff. And the theme for 2020 was Symphonia. Obviously, musical instruments, music in general. Some of the planned guests, Metamorphose, Atelier Pierrot. Of course, Triple Fortune is coming back. They are also performing, because they're also a musical group. They are performing as Brilliant Kingdom at the dance. BABYMETAL is going to be there, of course. Lily of the Valley, who has been around for ages. I have to do a video on her at some point. Tenshi Shop was also helping to sponsor the fashion show. She's a long-running Japan-only shopping service. I think it's like one person, basically, who's done it all for years. And there was also an evening dance event planned called the Starlight Soiree. That was a new feature. So, and that was where Brilliant Kingdom is going to be performing. Day 1, we would be returning to the Grand Plaza at Union Station. And day 2 is going to be at the Grand Hall of Power and Light. Put an F in the comments if you also had great plans for your year in January of 2020, only to watch them all kind of go in the shitter within 2 months. So, this might actually be kind of hard to talk about. This is great, great, great for me. I love this. So originally it was planned for May 15th through the 17th. That's when it was going to be held. So not too warm, not too cold, kind of a nice time of year. Although I do hear Missouri is really humid, but like, bitch, I'm used to it, so I'll be fine. In the early days of the pandemic, in March, we were still sort of like, okay, well, maybe we just, everything's got to shut down for a few weeks. And so they moved their dates into August. So they moved it out a few months, like, okay, by then everything should be under control. We should still be able to have this event. It'll be fine.
Dumb bitch.
It was not fine. To make up for it, they decided to host an online-only event via Twitch using the J Fashion On Demand title. Instead, this event was called Purgatorio, which is actually a pretty appropriate event. It references purgatory, and this was pulled from Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy. So purgatory is typically depicted as a place or state of suffering inhabited by the souls of sinners who are expiating their sins before getting to go to heaven. Essentially, it's the waiting room for heaven. So it's either that is when you can confess and purge your sins, or in other religions, it's just a waiting room for people who have not been baptized but may still be considered innocent souls, things like that. Like, I think in Catholicism, it's frequently considered most unbaptized babies end up just kind of chilling in purgatory. So it's a waiting room. And I think that was very apt and a great name for this online event, because we were all kind of stuck in our rooms, unable to leave. They turned it into, literally like a virtual convention, which I think is pretty cool. So you had craft along events with BABYMETAL, you had a Wigs 101, there was a 101 panel for plus size Lolitas, and that was followed up with a plus size positivity panel. A lot of people did come together to say, we're still gonna do something to connect with other people, and that there seemed to have been a lot of that at the beginning of the pandemic, where there was a lot of reaching out online to other people through Zoom or Discord or other video streaming services, things like that. And it was a great way to still sort of keep the event fresh in your mind, but also to be mindful of mandates to help prevent the spread of COVID.
Dumb bitch.
So when it was realized that things were not going to get any better, they ended up postponing the event to June of 2021. We were still kind of hopeful by then, like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, a whole year, human safety is more critical than any event. Honestly, like, public safety and protecting other people is more critical. It's more important in a whole than to sit here like an asshole and be like, well, I need to go and, spend $70 on bullshit at an anime convention. No, you don't. I actually did have an argument with a kid when our local con postponed as well, because you had to, obviously, you weren't not allowed to. And he was like, well, I think that they should still hold it for people who have been good and wearing masks everywhere and stuff this whole time. And this was before there was a vaccine as well. So he's like, we should still get to do something. And I'm like, no, you dumbass. It only takes one person who has not been following the mandates, or has been exposed to someone who doesn't follow the mandates, for it to become a super spreader event. That's literally all it takes. Like, have none of you motherfuckers watched a zombie movie? It only takes one person getting exposed, not knowing that they've had that exposure, and spreading it to everyone else. And I would say probably the greatest depiction of that would be, what's the 28 Weeks Later? Which was the not necessary sequel to 28 Days Later. And the way the zombie infection kicks back off is I haven't watched it in a long time and I didn't really care for it because there was no Cillian Murphy. So there was a guy whose wife was, she was a non-reactive carrier of the brain virus, zombie virus, and he wanted to go see her, and they were like, you can't touch her, you cannot wear a mask, blah, blah, you can't kiss her, like, no contact, you know, if you get too close to her, you will get infected with the zombie virus, you're going to start the whole process over again. And what does this dumb motherfucker do? He sees his wife, and he's so overcome with seeing her and seeing her sick and unable to help her, that I'm pretty sure he kisses her, and so he gets some of her infected saliva in his mouth, and congratulations, now he's infected, now it means he's going to get out into this facility, he's going to infect everyone in the facility, and that's how it starts. That, you know, it's classic. Or you can look at, in World of Warcraft, years ago, there was, I don't know but there was a raid boss, so you know, there was a raid boss, and there was a raid boss who had a damage over time or a dot effect on the players, and it was like a play effect. If you had a hunter class character, hunter classes can have pets that circle damage, so you're basically like a 1-1 tank and DPS team kind of, and so the hunter would set his pet on the boss, that was how it worked. So the boss would cast this dot, and it would affect both the hunter and the hunter's pet, and it was something that I think it would go away after a period of time, like headed down the boss, it would go away, or you had to, I think it would go away on its own after a short amount of time, or something like that, I can't remember. Well, the hunter's pet got it, and the hunter recalled his pet, because you know, he summoned his pet, and the pet still had the DOT on it, and the people behind World of Warcraft didn't account for this. So at one point, while in one of the first level major populated areas, I want to say Orgrimmar, that's sort of the big starting zone for Orgrimmar, he summoned his pet with this bleed effect, and others can catch it from you. So his pet began sending this dot onto everyone else he came in contact with. And if you remember, at one point, World of Warcraft had over 13 million people playing. This was kind of what they were every day. Before it was like, oh, there are a bunch of assholes who, you know, assault people and have a voice club going on. And this was, you know, before everyone kind of down on it. So you had this highly populated area full of little characters, and this plague DOT from a boss spreading all throughout this region. And people who study virology in school and now actually use it as a case study to understand how viruses spread. And then look it up and journal to the one or something, because it's kind of hilarious in my opinion. And so that's how these things happen. And that's why we haven't really done anything for 2 years, because it takes so very little to spread this. Anyway, so June 2021, they were like, okay, we'll do it this time for real. And then they didn't, because they couldn't, and they delayed again to 2022. Again, still, public safety trumps everything, but like, God damn it, can't we just have nice things, please? We can't. We don't get to have nice things, not anymore. Thankfully, they have kept rolling tickets over, so, and they have offered refund windows, like they emailed everyone personally, like if you can no longer attend, if something's come up for you where this is no longer possible for you, you can get a full refund. Or you can also transfer your ticket, and ticket transfer has been past the refund window, so up to a certain window you could get a ticket refund, but beyond that, you can only transfer your ticket, so you do have that option. I think you can only transfer it once as well. Again, in 2021, they held another Purgatorio event. This one was called Memento Mode. This one was really great. It was Vaporwave themed, which I am 100% for.
Lonely again? Missing your fashion friends from across the country? Japanese street fashion has gone worldwide online. Join the internet sensation at Purgatorio Memento Mode. Fashion panels, designers, virtual tea parties, pageants, and so much more.
They also had little tea party kits, so you could donate some money, or you could buy their tea party kit, and that would get you entrance into their private tea party event. I did get the kit. It had a cute little heart-shaped tea leaf strainer, a heart-shaped spoon for stirring your tea. It had a heart-shaped mug. It had a special tea blend, which was sort of a gray tea, and it came with directions for how to prepare it. It also came with, I think, a necklace, a special edition enamel pin. So you got a lot of great things, and it helped to kind of go back towards the event and towards the showrunners so that they could prepare for next year. They also ended up running a GoFundMe for the event because due to cancellations and all of those fees, they were short about, you know, they just wanted to recoup some of their fees, around $2,500. They did not reach that goal on their GoFundMe, unfortunately, but they were at least able to recoup some costs so that they could continue to hold this event. And honestly, $2,500 is not much for a 2-day event that features so many great guests and vendors and things to do in a beautiful location. So at least they got something for it. I hope it doesn't hamstring them too much for 2023 or 2024 either. I cannot even imagine the stress that they have been through in trying to create this event, and then the constant fluctuation of these pandemic situations and how the mandates have constantly changed. The stress and the pressure to keep up with that while always keeping people's safety as a priority has got to be immense. But 2022, it's happening. Oh God, I'm so excited. It's the first weekend of June. It's June 11th through the 12th in Kansas City, and it's going to be at Grand Hall, Union Station Plaza. We're going to have a VIP after party at Noir Arts and Oddities. I have a VIP ticket that's been rolling over. I'm really excited to go. I have an Airbnb set up with some girlfriends, and one of them I haven't seen in a while because she moved to Wisconsin, so it's going to be really great to see everyone. And just to do something, I've never been to Missouri. I've never really gotten to see that location, so I'm really excited to do it and go and experience this event in that city. They do have some regulations for safety for this year. One is that you are not allowed to come if you do not have proof of vaccination. And I'm not sure if that's a city mandate or if that's just their mandate or the event hall mandate. So they've been requiring everyone at least send us a copy of your vaccination record to this email or bring it with you to the event. I have already sent mine in via email because I don't want to risk losing my vaccination card while in Kansas City. They are also requiring everyone to wear masks unless actively eating and drinking, which I think is also like, it's a no-brainer move again. And so now I'm kind of like, what am I going to do for a mask? I don't want to wear just like a plain blue or black mask. I want something that'll kind of match. I do have a Nant glass mask from the Nant glass vampire dinner that I attended in October. So I'm sort of like, oh, maybe I can just wear that. So I might just wear that, but I'm like, it's also like, it's not going to go with both of my coordinates, you guys. There's a lot of stress on me to figure this out. If this is the only stress I have to deal with for this event at this point, like, I'm fine with it. So yeah, short of a comet hitting the Earth, and even then, like, I'm fucking going to Paradiso. I don't even care. Like, I'm going. My coordinate ideas have changed a lot over the last couple of years. So originally, my thought was when I heard the Symphonia theme was because I don't have any prints with like musical instruments, things like that, and for the love of God, I'm not about to go out and like buy a coordinate just for this set. So my thought was actually to go with something a little bit more silly. The brand Hershey has a chocolate bar called Symphony, and it comes with either red or blue font, and the difference is that I think the blue one has coffee and peanuts in it, and the red one is just plain. My goofy thought was to do chest chocolate, make a deep red blouse to go under it, and if I could find them, like little symphony bars in like a fun size, to hand those out and possibly also make an écharpe to wear across, and using my Cricut and some vinyl heat set to put the symphony logo across the écharpe so it would kind of be a whole thing. And then if someone was like, what? Then I could just like hand out these little bars of chocolate. It was kind of a goofy thought, and I was like, you know what? It's kind of original. It's different from doing the usual, like, well, I got a violin on my dress, and I got the Innocent World violin bag that everyone owns at some point. I'm not trying to throw shade on anyone with that bag or with a violin dress. I just, you know, I wanted to try and break away from that mold a little bit. I thought it'd be fun. I don't know. And then day 2, I don't think I've changed a lot of my day 2 look because that's the day of the tea party and the OG contest. There hasn't been as much deliberation there. I think for that, my idea has always been to wear Queen's coach. I call it Queen's limousine because it's 2 dresses hacked together. Limousine's bigger than a coach, so I'm going to rock that, which I rocked for one of the fashion walks for, I believe, Purgatorio, either Purgatorio or Teco, because Teco also went virtual. And so the thought was to do Queen's coach and wear that because it's more dramatic, it's got a lot to it, and I really like it. I really love it. I'm really proud of the work I did on it. I think it's just a gorgeous print, dramatic. That's actually the reason why I own this print. So this print that I'm wearing is actually Alice and the Pirates' Time of the Roses. It was Seconds fabric that someone had found overseas, and they bought it up and they were like, hey, you know, and they were selling it because that would happen now and again, is on the EGL.com sales, someone would have Seconds fabric and they would put it up for sale. It was very rare. So I got this. I also have it in the blue and gray colorway because they told me, oh, it's the Queen's Coach one. And when I actually got it, I was like, bitch, this isn't Queen's Coach, this is Time of the Roses, because I've always loved Queen's Coach as a print, but I was like, whatever. It's a beautiful, nice quality fabric. I'm not sure why it's Seconds fabric. There was a run of Seconds fabric of Chest Chocolate, and that was because the golden emblems on the fabric was printed upside down to the border print, so they couldn't use it. But with this one, and maybe it's because I'm not super familiar with the print as a whole, I'm not sure why it's Seconds fabric, but I bought some and I ended up making this OG set out of it, so I made the little hat. And this I've had since 2012, so I've had this for a while. And I don't wear it very often, but I really like it. Anyway, a lot of derailing here. So I'm going to wear Queen's Coach, and I kind of know all of the details. Originally, I was going to do a velvet overskirt and cape with it, and I actually have it made. I'm now worried that since this event is early June, that it's going to be hot as fuck. Like, it's already going to be hot. I'm going to be wearing a petticoat, you know, I'm going to be wearing a million layers because you're going to have bloomers, you're going to have tights, which I think I'm going to wear. I have these red lacy tights. Originally, I was going to wear the ones that I'm wearing right now. They're sort of a red shimmer fabric that I got at Joann's, and I made these tights. I think these are going to be too insulatory, so I think I'm going to wear my red lace tights. At this point, for day one, what I'm planning to wear is Meta's Mermaid Princess, which I've worn it in a previous video, and this one I've also hacked, so I call it Meta's Mermaid Queen. You get it. The idea with that one, I decided to, fuck the theme, it's fine. Fuck the theme, I'll just do my own thing. So I'm going for very, like, undersea theme. I'm really leaning hard into the Mermaid Queen thing. I have this beautiful over jacket that I've made for it, and I've got a matching bonnet that I made to go with it. The whole thing features sort of like pleating, and the idea behind the pleating was to sort of replicate a scallop shell. So you know how scallop shells have those beautiful ridges to them, so I thought, okay, if I do wide box pleats on everything and have them come to a point, it'll sort of feel like a scallop shell, so it'll sort of reinforce this aquatic theming. I'm going to wear that with Meta's Mermaid Princess, the bonnet. Everything's kind of nailed down, except I'm a little bit stuck on my accessories, and this is kind of why I wanted to make the video, because I figured I would do some crowdsourcing. So we are flying via Delta from Michigan to Kansas City, and because no one could fly for fun for like 2 years, all of the airlines are like panicking and charging extra. Like, originally we were planning to fly in 2020, and when we bought our tickets, I think it was like $250 for a round trip, which, like, you know, that's not bad, that's doable. This year it was closer to $500, and you get one checked bag, and I'm pretty sure the checked bag is like $70. That's also just how airlines work. They nickel and dime you on every goddamn thing. I'm trying to get it to the point where I only have one checked bag. It also has to be under 50 pounds. And I don't want to have to take, you know, 2 or 3 pairs of shoes and 2 or 3 purses, because I also have to haul makeup, which I still have to iron down my makeup look, because I have an idea. Like, I'm thinking of doing something similar to this for Queen's Coach, maybe a little bit less harsh. And for Mermaid Princess, I'm going to go mostly with sort of browns and neutrals, because, God, I'm never going to match the blue on that. The blue on that is like a weird steel gray blue, so I'm just going to make my eyes pop and call that my blue. But yeah, so I'm trying to stick with 1 pair of shoes to haul, 1 purse that I might take as my daily driver for the event as well, and try and minimize where I could. Like, I'm probably only going to take 1 petticoat. I do also have space saver bags, which I highly recommend. You can get like vacuum bags or space saver bags. I recommend the kind where you can just roll it up to get all of the air out of it, instead of having to worry about having a vacuum hookup to suck the air out. And so that's what I have, so I'm going to be using those to kind of help minimize space in my trunk. I do also want to take at least a little bit of normie clothes, because we're planning to fly in Friday and leave Monday. And 1, I'm going to travel in jeans because I want to be comfortable. And 2, in case we decide to do, I don't think we're going to have a lot of time on Monday before we have to go to the airport, because you have to go to the airport now like 3 hours in advance of your fucking flight.
I don't want to blame it all on 9/11, but it certainly didn't help.
But I'm hopeful that maybe I can do something, so we'll see what it boils down to. Or even after the events, like if we want to go and get dinner somewhere, like on Saturday, then that way I don't have to deal with the whole brouhaha and then like people like, well, what are you girls dressed up for? Like, oh, we saw some other girls looking like you earlier. Is there like a show going? Like, yeah. I'll probably be peopled out at that point, so I'd rather just avoid it by going in jeans and plain clothes. You know, you're gonna need to fit all of your other toiletries. I'm gonna need to take all of my makeup. I'm gonna have to pare that down to like as much as possible.
Chapstick, chapstick, just a little chapstick.
Jewelry and other accessories, like this fucking bonnet that I've made. It's a stiff brim bonnet too, so it's not like one of those weird like hat bonnets. It's just all fabric that I can just roll it up really tight. I'm gonna have to put it in like a box so it doesn't get crushed in my luggage. I'm probably going to take, they always allow you to have a carry-on bag and a purse, and so in my carry-on bag I'm hoping that that's probably where I'll keep a lot of my toiletries, or at least my makeup and things. You don't want to, and then like hair, like anyway, the point of all of this rambling is I'm not sure what shoes and purse I'm going to take, because I wanted to take 1 of each that will fit each coordinate. Currently what I'm thinking for shoes, and it's tricky because Mermaid Princess is very like gray and cool toned, but I'm going to be rocking a lot of gold jewelry with it because I've pulled a lot of my jewelry inspiration from the print itself. So I'm hoping that it'll make sense to wear champagne colored shoes. I have some light gold colored antique ribbon shoes from Baby the Starshine Bright. Those are rather comfortable for me. I can walk in them really well, so that's not an issue, and I think that will look great with my coordinate. I think it'll look great with both. The purse is where I'm really struggling. I have a couple of options. I have a few options. I can take a red Meta semicircular ribbon bag, which it'll kind of go with both. It'll be Metamorphose, it'll be red, it'll match with Alice and the Pirates, it'll match some of the pops of red in the Mermaid Princess print. But I'm worried about having too much red. It's a really stupid dilemma. It's barely a dilemma, but this is where I'm focusing my energies.
There's people that are dying.
There's also my gold quilted heart bag from Angelic Pretty. This one is in like really new condition. It's also huge and quite roomy. This one would also go with both prints and it would match the shoes. But it has all these beautiful little pearls studded all over it, and I'm paranoid about it getting damaged because I'm dumb. And this is the shit I worry about at night. I'm glad my problems can be so minuscule in the grand scheme of things. I also have a Meta quilted semicircular ribbon bag in white. It's a bright white, and this one I'm not worried about damage because I bought it off Mercari for like 1,200 yen because it was like really torn up and kind of beat up, like a lot of the pleather is kind of crackled. So I don't give a shit about it if it gets, scuffed or damaged or what have you. And I think it will go great with Mermaid Princess. But my concern is that it's going to be this bright white bag against Queen's Coach, and it's going to look stupid. So my contemplation on that is, do I want to get some pearlized acrylic paint, like acrylic top coat paint, and paint the whole purse with like a sort of pearlized iridescent glaze, because then I think that will sort of bring back the sort of like pearl theme to it and make that white less harsh. And I think it will also look more glam when held up against Queen's Coach. And again, I only paid like 1,200 yen for it, so I don't really give a shit. Like, I'm fine with kind of dinging it up a little bit myself. So I have that contemplation as well, but then it's like, bright white isn't going to go with my shoes, and I feel like it's going to be really harsh against Queen's Coach. Again, these are, in the grand scheme of things, these are like really dumb, minuscule problems, but it's ones that I can focus on, so I don't have to think about all the actual, like, serious problems of the world. So this is where I'm at. Hair plans, as you guys have obviously noticed, and thank you for all the compliments about my hair. I really appreciate it. My hair is naturally curly. It is also very thick. As is the way with naturally curly hair, it does whatever the fuck it wants on a daily basis. Like, I got it to play nice today. This is actually what we call day 2 hair in the curly hair community, which means I didn't do a full wash last night. Instead, I added a bottle of refresher. I'm going to use a little bit of conditioner. I added a little bit of tea tree oil because that helps to minimize any like dandruff or itchy scalp. Then you still brush the water, you shake it really well. Then you spray it over your hair. My hair's basically getting damp. You start rejuvenate. So you spray my hair a little bit and I wrap it up in like a silk scarf. That helps keep it from tossed and turned, pressed, and the curls are really flat. I do that. Then I have all that to deal with because with Meta's Mermaid Princess, I'm going to wear my hair down with the bonnet. So it's okay if it's day 2 hair because I think I'm going to be braiding it and wearing it in braids because then it will take on kind of a nice crimped wavy texture. My hair is great at holding on to textures. Like if I can finger curl it, it works better if I get the hair wet, but like I can literally like curl wet hair around my finger and it will take on a ringlet curl. So it's really good about holding on to a shape that I give it because of the structure of the curl strand. So my thought right now is that if I braid this, you'll be able to texture a little bit about maybe some clipping lefts just to make my hair look even longer. Once down, my hair's like clipping it back, so it's pretty wild. I don't know why I'm freaking out once. So that's consideration, or do I want to just chill? I'm also tempted to have some clipping bangs because I feel like I need something here. What I need to do is I need to clip them on and I need to trim them because they're a little bit long right now. And I'm going to do the sweep on one side. Just clip your bangs, guys. Come on, like, come along. You can go to a salon and they'll do it. Like, come around and check, like, hey, we clip bangs and wigs for me. So that's consideration. Do I want to bring the clip and bangs and wear them? And then for day 2, Queen's Coach, when I did it for the fashion walk, I wore my hair down. And I don't like that look with it now. Like, looking back, I'm like, that seems kind of like lazy. I kind of like how I wore it when I wore Queen's Coach in the one video where it was kind of up and I had roses in it, but I had bought a crown to wear Queen's Coach specifically. And so I think I'm going to do this one is what to do and updo with it. So I'm just tie everything up off my neck and I have like I might do something sort of vertical, so I have the one hair kind of hanging down. So I think that's where I'm kind of at for that. So technically I could do that on a refresh day and just spray my hair down and wrap it in a silk scarf and not have to worry about bringing the fucking arsenal. If you know someone with naturally curly hair, ask them what products they use and they will just start laughing because they use every product. We're constantly on the search to find something that our hair will consistently love. Another concern that I've been having is my nails, which, as you can see, they are not on... we covered this. All right, I did them for my niece's birthday party. I used the Lisa Frank collection by Orly. It was a gift from my girlfriend Brenda. Thank you, Brenda. Love you. They turned out pretty cute.
God, cute. So cute. Super cute.
And that kind of goes with the shoes and the purse. Like, see, it's all connected. Like a fucking Ouroboros of style. What I'm thinking of doing is I have like some champagne-ish nail polish, and I don't want to haul this stuff by plane. I don't want to take my nail polish with me. I don't want to risk, you know, a bottle getting cracked. So I want to do it before I leave. And I'm thinking of just doing a gel top coat. If you want your nails to last until Judgment Day, use a gel top coat, because that shit don't quit. And I don't mean like, oh, gel-like top coat from Revlon. Gel-like top coat, no need to set with a UV light. No, you want the UV light setting shit. You want the no-wipe top coat so that you have an option to burnish it with glitters or powders. Trust me, I know this shit. So my next thought was, okay, do like a champagne shimmer nail polish, something that's similar in color to the shoes so that it can lean a little bit cool or a little bit warm. And then possibly just, you know, just do my UV gel top coat and just wear it like that for the weekend. And talking through it, I'm pretty sure that that's what I'm going to do. I'd also consider doing a pearl look again. I have a couple of nail polishes that are similar to like an opalescent look, and so I could just do that. But then my concern is I feel like it's going to match Mermaid Princess, but I don't know how well it's going to match Queen's Coach. Like ideally for Queen's Coach, I would wear a deep red polish, something with shimmer, or maybe even like a pink, I don't know. So that's why I've been kind of settling on doing gold, because I think it's fancy enough to do both. I think it'll look fine. I have a lot of decisions to make in the next 3 months, so. And this is a plan that anyone should follow when you have a trip coming up. I'm an obsessive like list maker. Like that helps me sort of compartmentalize my ideas and my thoughts, is to make big lists. And so what I do is I have to kind of think through every step of what I'm doing. My daily routine, like, okay, when I get up in the morning, these are the couple of medications I take, so I will need to pack those. I wear contacts, so I have to bring contact solution in a case, which I have, they hand them out. So I do have that. I'm also considering maybe bringing a backup pair of contact lenses, just in case. And of course, I'm also going to be bringing my glasses. So there's a bunch of shit right there. And you have things like toothbrush, toothpaste, floss. I'm wearing makeup the whole time, so I'm going to need to pack makeup remover. So if I'm going to be washing my face that aggressively, then I'm also going to need to bring my face wash, toner, a moisturizer so that I don't break out or have excessive skin dryness, because I do get like some dry patches on my skin. On top of that, okay, so I'm also going to need pajamas. I'm going to need clean underthings. I'm probably going to need at least 2 or 3 bras. So on top of it, I also have to pack the dresses. I have to pack the petticoats. I'm going to wear like 1 pair of bloomers the whole time. Your separate tights that you're going to wear, the shoes, purse, whichever purse I pick. I'm really tempted to see if I can find a good pearlized acrylic paint for the white bag, because I think that'll look really nice even when I don't wear it with those things. Jewelry and accessories. I have to haul that bonnet. I have 3 piercings on my lobe now because I got a 3rd one done for my birthday last year, and I have a cartilage piercing up here, and I also have this ear pierced as well, and I just have 1. So that's sets of jewelry for each ear. I have everything picked out. I gotta pack it, so that's a whole thing to pack. So that's why I'm trying not to bring nail polish, because I'm trying to minimize what I have to bring. What works best for me is to kind of go through my routines and make a list of all of the things I use as part of those routines that I would want to have there. And like, obviously, like, you don't need to bring everything. You can bring like equivalents. Like, I don't want to haul my giant bottle of hair gel. I would rather like get a travel bottle and just dispense some into the travel bottle and take that. But I have to consider like, how much am I going to need, because this shit just can't make up its mind. Like, does it want a lot? Does it want a little? It doesn't know. I don't know. I don't know until it happens. So my main questions are, what shoes am I bringing? What purse am I bringing? And what color are my nails going to be? Those are my main concerns. I'll figure it out eventually. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. I'm sorry, I know this was just like a lot of fast-paced rambling at the last minute, but I'm so excited for this event, and I'm really excited to see people and to meet some new faces and to hang out with girlfriends and have a weekend away, and for just like 48, 72 hours to not have to think about stuff and about work and things like that. I just want a little time to just have a vacation and relax and enjoy myself. So let me know your thoughts down below. Do you have any plans for 2022? Anything that you're going to do, even if it's something small? Are you attending a local convention? Are you attending any Lolita events? Are you attending Paradiso? Will I get to see you there? That'd be so cool. What do you think for my colors, for shoes, purse, nails? What do you think? What are your suggestions? Do you have your coordinates picked out yet? I'd love to know what you're thinking of wearing. Leave them all down below. If you liked this video, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you want to discuss more, I always try to respond to comments when I think I have something insightful to say, and I always appreciate it. If you checked out 20 minutes ago because you weren't interested in listening to me anxiety ramble about fucking nail polish for 30 minutes, I get it. I don't know how you're somehow seeing this, but I get it. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for coming back and watching. Thank you for all of the subscribers that I've been picking up along the way. Really appreciate your time. Please continue to stay safe. Please continue to observe mask mandates when you can, especially when in crowded areas like grocery stores or schools, things like that. And take care of yourself, take care of others. Order your free COVID tests through the government if you have not yet. If you are US based, you can get 4 free. They're not good forever either, so, but just to have them on hand just in case. Nothing wrong with that. If you've not gotten your vaccination yet, please sign up and do so as soon as possible so that we can sort of tamp this bullshit down for once and for all. I really hope you all have a great rest of your day. Stay hydrated, eat some vegetables, and take care of yourselves. Okay. Test, test. 1, 2, 3. This is about how far I'll be. So stupid. No, I wanted you minimized. No, stop. You get it too far to the edge of the thing, and it's like, oh, you wanna maximize it now, right? And it's like, no, I don't want to fucking maximize it. If I did, I would. So, no tears, no crying. It's gonna be fine. What the fuck? Are you serious? God damn it.